Greetings, I am Vitaly Portnikov. If we can designate the key motive that unifies the presidents of Russia and China, it is their common stance of opposition towards the United States of America, commonly known as Anti-Americanism. The president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, had a day of negotiations in Beijing, which occurred in the context of the solidarity between Russia and China. This solidarity is based on their shared disapproval of the policies of the United States. Both Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping traditionally discussed how the United States imposed their vision of the world and their economic interests and priorities on Russia and China. And the main goal of cooperation between the two countries is to resist such a world order. Undoubtedly, the primary query is how Moscow and Beijing truly perceive the New World Order and the role of their respective countries. Despite all the warm embraces of the president in Russia and China and the grand reception that was given to Vladimir Putin in the Chinese capital, it is evident that for China, Russia is just a part of the world where it will be the People's Republic of China that will have the final say in determining priorities and making crucial decisions that shape the global landscape and impact international relations in significant ways. This can also be observed in relation to the war in Ukraine. Xi Jinping made it explicitly clear to Vladimir Putin that in Beijing they are tired and frustrated with the lack of prospects in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict and would like Moscow to find opportunities, if not to completely end the war, then at least to freeze it temporarily and explore alternative solutions. And once again, primarily the main thing is economic interest, which is of utmost importance. It is apparent that in China, the threats from the West have been taken seriously, indicating that Chinese banks will face sanctions from both America and Europe if they persist in assisting Moscow with their operations. And here is a genuine and intricate tangled knot that poses a significant challenge for the leadership of China. China has a preference for Russia to succeed in the war with Ukraine, as it is in their best interest on one hand. However, in order for Russia to maintain the capability to prolong the conflict, it is imperative that China furnishes economic assistance to Russia, and without a doubt, concurrently aid in the restoration of Russia's military-industrial complex at the same time. In this case, China begins to face significant issues with Western countries, and the Chinese economy comes under pressure from the United States and the European Union, which poses challenges for China in terms of its international relations and economic stability. This is not at all what Xi Jinping necessitates. That is precisely why the issue of putting an end to the war has become an important topic in the negotiations between Russia and China. And it gives the impression that Vladimir Putin aims to secure the support of his Chinese counterpart in case he truly has to go to negotiations, as he highly values the backing of a powerful ally like China. This will imply that Ukraine, as an independent state, will continue to exist on the political map of the world and will even have the capability to determine its own political and economic priorities. And the conflict between Russia and Ukraine took place precisely because Russia did not want to give the neighboring countries such a choice, such opportunities for self-determination. Therefore, Putin aims to prove to Xi Jinping that he is a much more important ally than merely a supporter of China's increased political role in their shared Russia and China confrontation with the United States in order to solidify his significance as a key partner. It's no coincidence that the Russian president arrived in Beijing shortly before the inauguration of the new president of Taiwan. In a joint statement, Russia once again reiterates its stance, emphasizing that it considers the One China principle as the main pillar of its foreign policy and fully supports any and all efforts made by Beijing to restore and uphold the country's territorial integrity, which it deems of utmost importance. However, another crucial question arises in this context. Will the President of China choose to adopt a strong and assertive strategy in order to restore the territorial integrity, considering the fact that Russia has engaged in a war with Ukraine and the Western countries have shown their preparedness to impose severe sanctions on the Russian Federation? And here is another significant result of the discussions between the presidents of Russia and the People's Republic of China. Both of them mutually rejected the idea of confiscating sovereign assets and property in complete agreement. As the war between Russia and Ukraine drags on, the confiscation of Russian assets in banks of Western countries becomes more and more concrete and a highly probable outcome. However, such confiscation is not just a nightmare for Vladimir Putin, but it is also a nightmare for Xi Jinping as well. This is a story that demonstrates that if a specific country chooses to exceed the boundaries of a global system founded on the principles of international law, then the nations to which it delegates its resources may likewise forsake a formal methodology to the preservation of their valuable resources, and actively take serious measures to halt aggression and ensure that the aggressive state bears the financial consequences of its actions. Make the payment for the bills using the funds that are already present in Western banks, which should not be sought either on the territory of Russia itself or, for example, on the territory of China, if the leadership of this country decides to follow the Russian path. However, it is clear that this is in no way the approach that will currently be attractive to the previous actions of China. And once again, when we carefully consider what will happen with the relations between Russia and China in the near future, we must understand that this is a relationship of senior and junior partners, with Russia being the senior partner and China being the junior partner. Yes, China necessitates support from Russia because of a multitude of shared interests that require collaborative efforts. Yes, China has the capability to declare extensive military, technical, and energy cooperation in conjunction with Russia if they so choose. Yet China is growing increasingly dissatisfied with a world in which Russia plays the role of the main destabilizing factor. China is becoming more dissatisfied with the increasingly chaotic world that lacks control and order. That is the reason why the statement from Russia and China specifically mentions the danger of an uncontrolled conflict between Russia and Ukraine, emphasizing the need for caution. In other words, a conflict that neither Moscow nor Beijing will be able to realistically influence in the future. Thanks! Stay tuned to this channel, subscribe, and follow me on social media. Wishing you good luck.